Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I got some news about BRICS, which is if you remember, that's the summit that's going to be held for the countries who are members of BRICS, which is Brazil, South Africa, India, China, and Russia. And it's an economic alliance, and it turns out to be, in my assessment, the foundation of the new club. The counter of the big club led by United States of America. And there's going to be a summit, and it's going to be presided by the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping. And this article is from Agence France Presse from today, June 22nd, 2022. And this is the title. Xi warns about expanding military alliances at BRICS Summit. So let's see what's going on here. Chinese President Xi Jinping warned against expanding military ties on Wednesday in a speech ahead of a virtual summit with top leaders from Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. Beijing is hosting the meeting of the influential club. Now it's influential, huh? Before this, it was didn't even mention what the BRICS are just doing over there their own thing. This was now it's influential. Influential club of BRICS emerging economies, which accounts for more than 40% of the global population and nearly a quarter of the world's gross domestic product. Important, not like these guys are portraying it. Three of its members, China, India, and South Africa, has abstained from voting on a United Nations resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine because Russia is isolated and the world community is speaking in one voice, in unison. Xi told the BRICS Business Forum that the Ukraine crisis is a wake-up call and warned against expanding military alliances and seeking one's own security at the expense of other countries' security. This is the point Russia was making with NATO and Ukraine at their expense, their security expenses. This is the point that Lavrov made until the cows come back home or whatever. China and India have strong military links with Russia and buy large amounts of oil and gas. In a call last week, Xi assured his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin and China would support Moscow's core interest in sovereignty and security, leading the United States to warn Beijing that it risks ending up on the wrong side of the history. Blah, blah, blah. We heard this so many times. If we're about to look about that, look about Yugoslavia, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, two atomic bombs. That's the right side of the history, isn't it? South Africa, one of the few African countries wielding diplomatic influence outside the continent, has also not has not condemned the Russian military action. Telling you, she took a swipe at US and European Union sanctions on Russia in a speech on Wednesday, saying, I'm quoting, sanctions are a boomerang and a double-edged sword, end quote. And we see that in Europe and the United States. And Russia is having profits. The ruble is a 7-year high versus the dollar. It sells more oil, more revenue. It has it doesn't have a deficit in its economic transactions, international transactions. It's unbelievable. Well, nevertheless, leaders of the group of 7 nations will meet next week in Germany to discuss how to proceed with sanctions against Russia. These guys are in the different total universe, but whatever. These guys are working slowly but surely. All right, so world divided. The BRICS summit takes place as Russia troops continue to pummel eastern Ukraine after invading the countries 4 months ago. China and India have both ramped up crude oil imports from Russia, helping to offset losses from Western nations scaling back Russian energy purchases. India bought 6 times more Russian oil from March to May compared with the same period last year, while imports by China during that period tripled, data from research firm Rystad Energy shows. Once bitter Cold War rivals, Beijing and Moscow have stepped up cooperation in recent years. President Putin was in Beijing for an opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics in February, just days before the invasion of Ukraine. Beijing and Moscow also flew bomber aircraft over the Sea of Japan and East China Sea while US President Joe Biden was in Tokyo in late May, signaling strong military links between the two countries. It's not signaling. They said that they had all kind of military maneuvers all over East Asia. And what are you talking about? It's not something new. They said Xi Jinping said that the relation between Moscow and Beijing is stronger than an alliance. What is brotherhood? He added that BRICS gives a platform for Putin to stand with leaders from emerging economies. What do you want? People might have different opinions and different take on this. It sends a message to the US and the EU that they have not succeeded in isolating him and Russia. Well, this is Moji Joshi, a New Delhi-based author and geopolitical commentator, told Associated France Press. The world has been divided into East and West after the Ukraine war. That's what this guy said. Well, I've been saying that for a long time. Now that I'd like to, how do you call it, play the big guy here, but it was too obvious to miss that, you know. So it says entry of other members who follow the Chinese line will help steer the group's agenda closer to the Chinese agenda. Yeah, this is Mahdou Bala, professor and editor of the India Quarterly Journal. Beijing would like to shape the BRICS agenda in line with China-centric initiatives. We have a problem there, obviously, which is India and China. They're not the best of friends, if you know what I mean. They have Kashmir over there. They have Tibet and other stuff over there. They talk Kashmir. It's the other ones with how do you call them? With Pakistan. Nevertheless, they have their own problems over there, and we'll see what's going on. The problem is BRICS is there. They will get together. There's going to be the other global pole and geopolitics and military strategies. There's going to be a strategic pole right here. As you heard, it's important. 40% of the population, I think, and it says about 20% of the total GDP, global GDP, is not something that you would like to ignore. And remember, it says total. So that means not if you bring the other pole, well, push these guys together because you were busy with your woke agenda here in the United States and you were busy with, you know, impeaching that guy, impeaching the other guy, make sure you arrest those guys, make sure you do this. And these guys were working like ants. And here they are right now. It's too late, you know? Kill it before it grows, remember? I Shot the Sheriff song? Kill it before it grows. Too late. It's already grown big and fat, ready for and a little bit drunk, so ready for a fight. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.